In this video, see how this huge master bathroom came together. From straightening out the studs to installing the board, installing the tile, installing the mud, installing the floor tile in the shower and on the main floor, installing the heat. See it all. Many, many, countless tips. I just got here. I brought up some tools, just a level. Some cordless tools. I got my hydro board over here, and now I got this shower to do. It's 8 feet by 4 feet. There's going to be a corner bench over here. There's going to be a corner bench over there. There's going to be a niche here and a niche here, and 2 drains. So I'm going to have to make it so in the middle, any water gets in the middle, it's going to either go one way or the other. So first thing I'm going to do is check the alignment of these studs and see if I'd have to do any shimming. These studs. See how we're doing here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Okay, so this stud is sticking out. I'm going to have to shave this one down. And this stud here up high is sticking out. I'm going to have to shave that down too. So let's get going with that. I'm just going to use a planer set to the maximum depth. Okay, so I got all the studs shaved down. Now I'm good all the way across except for that one stud that I'm going to have to shim out. Okay, so that's it for me today. I got all the hydro board up. It's all sealed. It's don't need any banding. The sealer is what creates a waterproof seal at the corners and at the seams. I got the curb on. Tomorrow we're going to do the mud. I got flow effects drains. Put down the top paper, the wire lath. Install the drains, install the mud. Okay, so I got all the perimeter down for the mud. I'm going to show you in just one second so that I can screed from one drain to the middle and from the middle to the other drain and then from the 2 ends. The perimeter is all completely level, and then the center is level, except I made it just slightly pitched down towards the center a little bit, just a tiny little bit. Now I'm going to fill in all the way around and pitch to both drains, from the center to this drain, from the edges over here to this drain, and same over here from the center to that drain, and give it a nice slope so that no water will accumulate in the center. It'll either drain to one side or the other. Okay, so that's it. Pitch to the drain. Pitch to the drain. Pitch to the drain. All the way around. So, just going to clean up a little bit. 9 bags of mud. It took a lot longer to do than a typical shower mud floor would take, because everything is double, 2 drains, 2 pitches, one to one side, in the middle. So it took a lot longer than it typically would take me. If this was a single drain, it probably would have taken me 2 hours less than what it took me today. We're going to waterproof the shower floor. Got the sheet membrane, the inside corners, the banding. So I'm going to put an inside corner in each of every one of those corners, and then put the sheet membrane over the entire thing. Okay, so I pre-cut all the banding so that when I mix my thin set, all I have to do is just install it. Okay, so it's all sealed up and waterproof. I actually have probably like a 6-inch overlap over there. I have probably like a 10-inch overlap over here, and like a 5 or 6 inch overlap over here. The minimum overlap is 2 inches, but if you do more, it's not going to hurt. So the drains all cut out. I put a little test plug in, both of them. Put some water in there, so tomorrow I can flood test it. So if I come back and there's no water in those over there where those test plug is, that means it's leaking, and I'm going to have to fix the test plug before I actually do the flood test on the shower stall, because I don't want to have a leaking plug test and think that it's a leaking shower. So anyway, I'm ready for a flood test, and then ready for time. It's not going well. Typical Friday, when they were boxing in the drains downstairs in the garage for the 2 drains, and the carpenter really screwed me up. So I'm making a repair on one of my bonding flanges to fix the problem. I'm going to show you what's going on. So what happened was, he was boxing in the drain, and after I left, he pushed up on the bonding flange and made it pucker up. So now I had to cut it out using cut out the drain using an inside pipe cutter, put a coupler on it, cut out some membrane, and now I'm going to have to reset it, and then I'm going to put a big patch of sheet membrane over this, and then it's going to have to be flood tested tomorrow, because it can't flood test it today. Okay, all patched, let it dry overnight, tomorrow flood test. Okay, so I'm back on the master bathroom. The flood test was good. I forgot to turn on my camera, but the test was good. It was still, I don't know if you can see that pencil mark there, it was still at that pencil mark. It drained okay, and I dried it off as best I can. But because it's still so soaking wet, because the membrane, the fleece on top is going to soak up a lot of water, and I dried it off as best I can. I decided that I'm going to let this dry before I install the tile, because I don't want to run the risk of the thin set not sticking to the membrane because it's so wet. So instead, I'm going to install the Ditra heat in the main area here. This part of the floor is getting all Ditra heat. This part of this in here is going to get the same membrane, but there's not going to be any heat in here. So I'm going to put everything as much as I can into a corner. So I'm going to move everything over as much as I can, and I clear that entire area and put the membrane down. I don't have the cable yet, so that's supposed to come in tomorrow. Then tomorrow I'll install the tile on the shower floor, and I'll install the cable over here, and possibly move some of this stuff around and install the membrane in this area here. Before you do anything on plywood, you want to make sure you sweep it and get all the debris off it. Then you're going to vacuum it. And then just before spreading your mortar, you're going to damp sponge it. Okay, so I got all the Ditra heat membrane cut in. Between sheets, you want to butt them tight. At the wall, you want to leave a little gap, like a 1/4 inch or so. Make sure it's not tight. Now this is moving around a little bit because it's not cemented down, it's all loose. But you want to make sure that you leave a gap all the way around because this is going to be heated. Where the wire is going to run through, you want to make sure you get the pucks to line up so that when you run your wire, you don't have to like try and snake it, it'll just run straight across. Where you are not going to have wire, like over here, it doesn't matter if they line up or not. So I'm going to be using a modified mortar to cement this Ditra heat membrane to the plywood. Now there are 3 different types of modified mortar, the ANSI standards, if you will. So 2 of them work perfectly fine with installing products on plywood. 1 of them is not. It is a guaranteed failure. So make sure when you're looking for your mortar to install your membrane or whatever to a plywood subfloor that you use either ANSI A118.11 or ANSI A118.15. If you have a bag of mortar that's ANSI A118.4, that is not rated for plywood and it is a guaranteed failure. So just be careful what you do, because a lot of people know modified, unmodified, but there are different kinds of modified mortars. Another thing, if you've got long runs, like this is like over 10 feet over here this way, when you put your membrane down, make it so that you can roll it this way like this. Because if you if it's under the cabinet there and you have to roll it the other way, you're not going to be able to because of the, because it goes under. So just a little tip there. Sometimes you can't avoid it for whatever reason, but if you can avoid it, do it that way so you don't have to struggle trying to put it back in. Okay, so to install this Ditra heat membrane, I'm going to be using Schluter All Set and Schluter All Set. And just to demonstrate what kind of mortar it is, see, this is an ANSI A118.15T. T stands for Thixotropic. But if it meets this standard, then it also meets this standard and this standard. So this standard and this standard are good for plywood. This one here is not. You can use this on cement board, you can use it on concrete, you can use it on even foam board if you want. But if you're going to install something to plywood, you need to use one of these. This is a lower standard, this is a higher standard. So by standard, it's shear strength and all that kind of stuff. So bond strength, shear strength, and tensile strength, etc., etc. The All Set is an A118.15 mortar. Okay, so I'm going to be using a Schluter Ditra Heat or Ditra XL trowel. It's just a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch square notch trowel. And when you're mixing thin set, you always want to control your dust. This is a whale tail. This will suck as I drop the mortar into the bucket. This will suck the dust up into the vacuum. So you want to control your dust if you're mixing inside. Okay, so I got my mortar mixed, and while that's slaking, which is actually very important, always mix your mortar according to the directions on the bag. So this is all set. You mix it for membranes, you mix it from 7.5 to 8.5 quarts of water, and then you mix it for 5 minutes, you let it slake for 10 minutes, and then you remix it for 3 minutes. So, and actually you'll see it as in the bucket after it's slaked, it starts to firm up, and then you remix it and it gets loose again to the right consistency. So very important to mix your mortars according to directions. So in the meantime, instead of waiting around for 10 minutes doing nothing, I am going to roll back my membrane and start dampening the plywood and getting ready to set spread my mortar and put down my membrane. With that sponge is clean.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
See that? That's right. Dampen some floor. You gotta set the mix to the correct consistency. We use the flat side of the trowel to key in the water, and then we used the notch side of the trowel to gauge out our mortar. Make sure I'm where it needs to be. Okay, see if our coverage is good. Very good. So I'm going to do the same for the rest of this. Okay, so got all the Dietrich heat down that I need to get down. But got it all installed up to where I need it. There's no heat in here, but we need the same membrane to keep everything the same height. The heat is just in that area there. So tomorrow morning this will be dry. This here will be dry, so I can install the tile in the shower stall, and then I'll put the wire in the mat. Shower floor is dry, and this is my tile. I had to reset this bonding flange because the plumber popped it from underneath. Well, the two drains, tried to make it balanced.